Hello Stampers, and welcome to Laura's Stamp Pad. Today I just thought I would share with you how I created this fabulous ombre background with the fabulous little coffee cup on there. Warm and cozy, thanks a latte. So this is perfect, especially if you're looking for a more masculine thank you note that doesn't have flowers or bling, which I struggle with. Then this would be the perfect card to give to a man for a nice little thank you, or to give to any sort of friend. You could always add in a little gift card for their favorite coffee shop too. So I wanted to show you how I did that ombre background and gave that some texture with an embossing folder. So first I took 4 pieces of cardstock. This is a great way to use up scraps. So if you have scraps of pink and yellow, then go with pink and yellow. If you have a whole bunch of scraps in every color, then just mix and match and play with it. It's super fun and, like I said, a great way to use up your scraps. So Emerald Envy, this measures 3 3/4 by 1 3/4. Tranquil Tide, 3 3/4 by 1 1/2. Bermuda Bay, 3 3/4 by 1, and this is Pool Party, which is 3 3/4 by 3/4. So I'm simply going to take a scrap piece of white, so this is just a strip of white that I had extra, and I'm going to put some adhesive right down the center, or right down down the middle of it. And now I'm just going to simply line each of these up. So I'm going to line it up with the edge here so that I know that it's nice and straight, but it really doesn't matter as long as each of them are lined up right directly next to each other for each of those. So I'm just going to continue down and line those up. Oop, that one's overlapping just a little bit. So now we have our little handle to hold all of these together, and I'm simply going to place it inside the Seaside embossing folder and go and emboss it. So how much easier is that rather than placing them together and hoping that they stay together? You can run it through the embossing folder either like this, or you could also do it like that, whichever you prefer. I did my sample like this, so let's go ahead and go sideways this time. So let's go emboss that. Okay, so now I've embossed it, and I actually wanted to show you both of them. So this one here I embossed up and down like I did on the sample, and you'll notice it came out nice and smooth. Simply trim off the end here, and then now you can add it to the front of your cardstock. Now the one that we actually did where I said I was going to go sideways, you'll notice that it sort of pushed and pulled each of those apart just a smidge. So if you really wanted to go sideways, that's perfectly fine. You can simply cut each of these apart, and then you can place them together if you want them to be nice and tight. If you're okay with them being just a smidge farther apart, then that's completely fine. You can have it with that little bit of border in between each one, but otherwise just simply cut them apart and then add them to your card front pressed together again. So you can go with either way. I'm going to go ahead and finish the card using this one. So then I'm simply going to add adhesive to the back of this and add it to a piece of crumb cake measuring 4 inches by 5 1/4. And there you have that fabulous background there. So then I added that to a chocolate chip card base and added a little bit of linen thread. I also wanted to show you how I did the coffee cup. Of course, I did it with the Coffee Cafe stamp set and coordinating framelits. Of course, you can bundle and save when you purchase those together. So what I did is I did the little coffee collar in chocolate chip, as well as stamped the top in chocolate chip and die cut that out. I used Early Espresso to stamp the base in Whisper White and die cut that. The greeting was done in Bermuda Bay, which coordinates with this strip. And then the top little tab that goes in the coffee to keep it warm and without spilling, or I think that's what those are for. I'm not a coffee drinker, so I'm not sure. I did that in Emerald Envy. So on the back, I simply used Stampin' Dimensionals to hold the lid onto the cup, and then also to hold that little tab onto the top there. So I have those 3 dimensionals are holding it all together, and then of course those 3 dimensionals are just to offset and help adhere it to the bottom of my card. So that's how I got all of the pieces to sort of stick together and hold tight for this gorgeous little look. And I put it on diagonal just for that fun little look. Oh, and I actually just realized I put it on upside down, but that's okay. So this one's gonna go with the darker on the top, and this one is the darker on the bottom. But super, super cute. A great way to use up your scraps and get that little ombre cool effect with the background. You'll also notice this one, the seaside, actually is inverted, and this one is popped up. So that's another fun little variation that you can play with. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial and try it out yourself. A great way to use up your scraps too. If you want, you can check out more of these on my blog, laurastamppad.com. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe if you're new by clicking down there, and check out some of my other tutorials over here. Happy stamping, everyone. Bye-bye.